Hello, and welcome to whoever's viewing this live to our special event for Black Friday. Hi, Inder, how are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm also good, thank you. So, this is our first time back to this sort of live session after our use case of the week series. So, this is going to be slightly different. In the use case of the week series, we conducted a six-session webinar series where we went over some complex use cases and tips and tricks to sort of use Nexweave with a lot of different applications. So today we want to, like, the motivation behind today's event was basically to give a lot of context to Black Friday, because we know that with the holidays coming up, a lot of our users are going to be running marketing campaigns, and we want to show you how you can incorporate Nextweave and actually hyper personalize these campaigns for your own audience. So I'm going to be using some of the new Nextweave templates that we've created as well. I'm going to show you how to run a basic email campaign. And before I jump in, if there's anything you'd like to add to sort of prime our audience for what's about to come?
So, in fact, for those of you who have not checked it recently, we have added a few Black Friday templates specifically. So you can go ahead and check them out. Whether you're running something in the e-commerce space or the coaching space, you'll find something interesting over there. And that's where we thought that let's have the session where we can explain you how you can make use of those templates and run your campaigns. So for those of you who are watching it live right now, I'm sure you're going to have a good time in terms of getting more ideas in terms of how to do this. And of course, we'll be putting this on YouTube as well. So for those of you who missed it out, you can check it out on our YouTube channel as well.
Perfect. So I'll jump right into it then. So today, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to show you how you can hyper-personalize your Black Friday campaigns. So today's workflow is actually fairly simple. We're going to take a personalized image, embed it into an email, and that image is going to be hyperlinked to a personalized landing page that contains a video. The image, the video, the landing page, all of that is created on Nexweave. And the email, I'm actually going to be using Active Campaign as a demonstrative example for this session. But you could replicate the same workflow to whatever CRM or email building platform that you are using. And I am going to share some tips to keep in mind through the course of this workflow so that you can apply that at your end whenever you have the chance as well. So as I mentioned, we have an image in an email that hyperlinks to a landing page that contains a video. So we're basically going to start our pre-work with the creation of 4 templates. So I'm going to take you through some basics of the editor, introduce you to new Nexweave templates. We're not going to be going into the details of creating the templates today, but don't worry because to everyone who's registered for this session, I will share the important resources needed to help you get started with this. So for this particular workflow, we need one image template, this personalized image that's going to be embedded inside the email. We need a video, which is going to be embedded in the landing page. We, of course, need the landing page itself. We can also use the image as a thumbnail for this video. So I'm gonna stay away from the slides now and jump right into the Nexi platform so you can get a clearer idea of what I'm talking about. So before we got started today, Inna spoke about some new templates that we've introduced. So if you go over to the video, image, or landing page public library, you will recognize some of these Black Friday templates. You would have received emails from us about this as well. So these templates cover a wide range of topics, whether it's a voucher, whether it's just an image or a GIF that's announcing a sale, whether you're adding people to your wait list. So we've got different use cases all related to Black Friday that we've covered in these 5 to 6 templates under each media type that we've introduced. So we have image, video, as well as landing page. So I'm going to be using a combination of these templates today. Now, the easiest way to use a public template is basically click on its menu and then clone. So what clone does is it creates a copy of these templates and it stores them inside your personal library. And then you can go into Nexweave editor and make whatever changes you want to this template. So that's exactly what I did in preparation for this demonstration. I copied one of the public templates to create this image template, and this is exactly what I'm going to be embedding inside my email. Now, you can see that this particular template, if you go into the Enlist Variables tab, only has one variable, which is username. So throughout the course of this workflow, all of the templates that I've used have 1 or 2 variables just to make the example a little easier for all of our users to digest. But you could typically use as many variables as you have data for. So as long as your email marketing tool, your CRM, or whatever data source you're using has this information, you can create custom variables for it on Nexweave. As I mentioned, time doesn't permit me to go into the details of how this template was created, this GIF was created. But I will be sharing all the required resources. So don't worry, you'll have access to all of that, anyone who's registered for this session. So if you notice, there's one touch that I've added to this. Because I intend to add this to my email, I've added a play button at the top. So I just put in an image component and then I selected and I just uploaded an image of a play button to Nexweave and used it here. So basically, I want to make this image as clear as possible to my audience that this is going to be clickable. So when they click on this, they know that they can expect a video to play at the other end of it. And I've named this template as Black Friday image and email. So that just makes sure when I'm creating my campaign that I have my assets sorted. So once you make any changes to Nextweave, you just need to click on Save Template. If I go back to my library, you would notice a duplicate of this. So for the sake of creating a thumbnail for the video, I've just created a copy of that very gif that I created for my email. And the only change I've made is I've removed the play button, because now this is going to appear as a thumbnail on the video. In any case, it will already have the play button. If this is confusing you right now, don't worry, because when I actually demonstrate this to you, it'll become a little clearer. So basically, I've used the same GIF template to embed inside my email as well as use as a thumbnail for my video. Now let's head on over to the video library. I've once again gone ahead and already created a duplicate of the Black Friday video that I wanted to use. I've also, similar to the image editor, even the video editor is super intuitive. I've already gone ahead and made minor changes to the text, the content, the style that I wanted to, basis the message that I wanted to give. In addition to the username variable, one thing that's used in my video is also the discount code. So you can see that as long as I have my data at my end configured a certain way, I can use any variables that I want to inside my Nexweave template. So let's see if we can get a quick preview of this video. So you can kind of see what the name personalization, etc. appears as. I'll show that to you inside the editor as well. Yeah, there we go. So you kind of get a glimpse of what this video contains as well. Message about the name, the discount, etc. And finally, I have my landing page. So we can head over to the landing page template library. I've once again already created a duplicate of the public template, and I've edited to contain Nextweave's logo, the messaging that I want to give my audience through this landing page. But you'll notice something about it. Now, if you take a look at this component, I have my logo, I have the text that I want to include. If you see these little boxes with the dotted highlights, these are actually the merge tags or the personalization variables that I've used. So it's really simple to add that in your landing page as well. Exactly like how it works for your images and videos, even your landing page editor has an endless variables tab, so you can actually type in whatever variables you want to use. For the sake of consistency, I have username or name and discount used all across the board. But at your end, you could obviously use differently labeled variables as well as different values here. So if I want to change any of these text details, I just need to type that in. Inside the text editor directly, the merge tags drop down appears. I can select whatever merge tag or personalization variable I want to use. One thing that's missing from here is my actual video. So in this template, these are the following content blocks that I have available to drag and drop into the landing page. And we have one custom block available for the next free video. So I'm just going to pick this up and drag and drop it right here. Now you see that this puts in a placeholder for a video. You must be wondering at this point that when do we select or where does the video actually appear? Well, that's the next step. Once we save this template and run a campaign, I'm going to talk about campaigns in a little more detail in a minute. That's when we combine all these different templates that we've used and we actually create you'll see this workflow come to life. So in this template version of the landing page, you just go ahead and save it. And you can see that I've also named this. Let's rename this actually. Let's call it Black Friday landing page final. So I've also created this landing page template and saved it. And now once all of this is done, we can go ahead and combine and create a campaign for our image, video, and landing pages. Now I've said campaign about 15 times. So for those of you who are new, a campaign is basically a process on Nexweave by which you can, like I mentioned, combine multiple templates and create a link or a code such that these are shareable outside of the Nextweave platform. So your campaign is actually a connection between Nextweave and whatever email sending platform, email marketing platform, CRM that you are using at your end. So let's head on over to the campaign section. And here, go ahead and click on create a new campaign. You can set a name for this campaign. And now we have to select the campaign type. So as I showed you earlier, we're going to be embedding an image in an email that hyperlinks to a video landing page. So I'm going to leave my campaign type as video plus image. If I intended to only share a video or only share an image, then I would choose video or image as my campaign type. Another thing to keep in mind here is when I say image, image and GIF are replaceable. So our editor looks at images and GIFs as the same kind of media asset. So whether it's an image or a GIF, you would choose image as your media type from this drop down. So I'm going to go ahead with video plus image. And then I have to select three things. First is the image for my email. So as I showed you already, I saved a template named Black Friday image in email. I'm just going to click on that to select it. The next thing I need to do is select my video template. So click on the drop down and I've already saved a Black Friday video. And then I need to select the thumbnail for my video. So once again, I'm going to select the Black Friday video thumbnail. All of these three templates are just what we went over a few minutes ago. And then finally, I need to select my landing page. So this landing page is the Black Friday landing page final that we just edited and added the video component to. So now I've got all of my templates selected. All these four templates that we created during the pre-work of this campaign are done. Once you create a template, you don't need to go back and create it again and again. You can run multiple campaigns using the same template. So that template creation is a one-time activity for you. Once that's done, you can skip all of these settings for now and just head on over to save and proceed. So the first step of our campaign was the configuration. That's where we put together the templates and decided that I want my workflow to contain 1, 2, 3, 4 Nexweave templates between images, videos, and landing pages. And under activation is where I actually generate the links or the codes needed to view these images outside of, or view these media templates outside of Nexweave. So under the activation type, there are two types in as an overview. One is a bulk link campaign and one is a URL override. We're not really going to be focusing on the bulk link campaign for today, but just as a quick overview, a bulk link campaign is where you would be supplying your audience information to Nextweave. So you'd actually fill up a CSV sheet that contains information for all the variables that you've used. And then Nextweave would generate unique links for each name under that list. So if you have a CSV sheet that you want to generate personalized media links for individually, this is the way to do it. Again, we don't have the time to go into this kind of a process in too much detail right now, but I will be sharing this across in the resources sheet as well. If you're curious, you can definitely have a look at the videos and detailed documents that we have for this. Today, however, our focus is going to be on the URL override campaign. So let's not get into the nomenclature behind URL override campaign. I'm just going to show you logically how this campaign works out. Now, as soon as I select this option, all the variables that have been used. So in this case, I have username, name, and discount. Now, these are a combination of all the variables used in the templates that I selected. The templates being the images for the email and the thumbnail, the video, as well as the landing page. So in all of these, whatever were the variables used, that's just been listed here, along with something called a fallback value. Now, this fallback value is a default value that these variables would take in case you have data missing or something that's unavailable. But actually, we're going to be replacing these variables with your audience information. So once you're confirmed, you just double check all the details. All you need to do is click on save and then click on launch. So what that does is now my campaign is technically activated. So it is ready to share all of these media templates outside of Nexweave. But as I mentioned earlier, I am drafting my email campaign on Active Campaign. Now, you could be using any other email builder, any email sending platform, a marketing automation platform, CRM. We have over 70 listed on Nexweave, but even if they aren't directly integrated with Nexweave, but they allow your emails to have an HTML component and they have personalization or merge tags available, you should be able to easily integrate that with Nexweave as a platform. I'm going to show you how that's possible. So what we're going to do inside Nextseed now is basically generate a code that is compatible with one of these integration platforms. In my example, that platform is ActiveCampaign. You could choose any other platform from this list or even platforms that don't fall in this list, and I'll show you how that works out. But for a second, let's go over to ActiveCampaign and see the kind of setup that's required to get this running. So in Active Campaign, I've already gone ahead. I've uploaded my sheet for my Black Friday contact list. I've used the test sheet with about 3 names on it, but you would typically have many, many more in your audience. So I've already gone ahead. And while I was updating that sheet to Active Campaign, I've created some custom variables as well as used some of the default personalization or contact fields that are already available on Active Campaign. So I've done that. I've also created a basic template and now I'm going to create a campaign. So I go into the campaign section inside Active Campaign, click on create a campaign. I'm just going to follow the steps that Active Campaign details out to me so we can do this together. But you would typically follow a similar workflow in whatever platform you're using. So let's name this campaign. I'm going to set it as a one-time email campaign just to keep things easy. As I mentioned earlier, I've already uploaded my contact list. So I'm just going to select that list. And now we're getting into the template designing part of our workflow, where we can actually create and add our Nexweave and actually see the Nexweave image come inside the template. I'm going to stick to the email designer, but I have already gone ahead and created a basic template that I want to use. So I'm going to designate a subject here. You can see this little lightning icon. I can actually use personalization fields inside the subject line as well. Now, most email editors actually kind of function the same way. So if you've used one or two drag and drop editors in your experience, you will be able to replicate that across platforms, including the editors within Nextweave. So if you found that the templates were looking a little complicated, it's actually far simpler than it looks. And you have access to these templates to replicate, of course, but I will be sending you the videos and detailed documents that you need in order to create your own templates as well. So as you can see, I've drafted out the email content the way that I want it to appear. What's missing here is a block where I can insert the Nexweave image. And this image, as I mentioned earlier, needs to be hyperlinked to my landing page. So all of that's going to happen inside Nexweave. All I need to do on Active Campaign is scroll down and find the HTML block. Then I just drag this out, drop it into the space that I want to, and you can see that you can edit the HTML code here. Now, where do I get the HTML code from? So let's head back to Nexweave now. And you see, after you launch your campaign, after you activate it, you have a get embed code button. You click on that and then you get to select an integration platform. So I'm going ahead with Active Campaign, but as I mentioned earlier, you can choose any other platform from this list, and it really isn't limiting. The only benefit of choosing a platform that's already inside this list is that we've gone ahead and compiled a list of commonly used variables in the syntax that's accepted by by each respective platform. But you also have a custom variable input. So technically, you could ignore all of this and just enter your own values here. That's what makes Nexweave so flexible. Even if your platform is not listed here, you could still choose Active Campaign and just type in a custom value like first.name or something like that. That's what makes it so flexible and easy to use. So that's what I'm going to show you today as well. So my username and name are actually the same variable. It's just that in different templates, I had named them differently and I didn't keep that in mind. So I want both of these to be mapped to the first name within Active Campaign. So basically what I'm doing is I'm taking all of my Nexweave variables and I have all the personalization variables that Active Campaign uses, and I'm just doing like a one-to-one mapping. It's literally saying username is equal to first name is equal to first name. Now for discount, you'll see that there isn't really a merge tag that I can use here. But if you remember, inside my when I uploaded my contact list to Active Campaign, I mentioned that I've uploaded some custom variables as well. So in my sheet, if you take a look at this email, and I just show you the personalization tags drop down, here you can see this contact discount. So I created this custom variable. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this variable. So I've clicked on Control X. I'm just going to copy this variable. And inside Nextweave, sorry, let me go ahead and select this again. Inside Nextweave, instead of selecting something from the drop down, I'm going to click into the custom variable input box. I'm going to paste this discount variable, which I copied from my Active Campaign page, and just click on add. What that does is it adds it to this drop down, and then I can just click on it to select it as well. So this is the way I can manipulate the variables that are being used inside this embed code model. I don't have to select a platform that is necessarily from within this list. I can choose a platform that isn't right now directly integrating with Nexweave, but use this as a workaround where I manually type in a variable to map it to. Once you've got this mapping completed, you just need to click on Generate Embed Code. Now, Nextweave will generate separate codes and links for your images and for your videos. But what we are interested in is this image plus video embed code. So now that this is generated, this fairly complicated looking code is generated, I don't have to do anything to change it. All I have to do is click on copy code, head over to my Active Campaign platform. I'm going to reopen the code editor. And instead of this text, I'm just going to copy and paste this particular code. That's it. Active Campaign is going to do all the work for me now. It's going to take a look at whatever username is and replace it with first name. And whenever it sends out this email, it'll replace the first name, that is the percentage first name, which is an Active Campaign variable, with my audience information. So from Nexweave, we just get a basic code that does a one-to-one mapping of the Nexweave variables with the Active Campaign variables, and the rest of the job is up to the email marketing or CRM platform that you're using. Once you're happy with this email, you just click on Next. It'll save all your changes for you. I'm going to make sure that my subject line is okay, the from email list, etc. Everything is in line, and then I'm going to click on send now. So this launches my campaign. Now, while the campaign is sending out the emails, I've already sort of done a test a couple of hours ago. So I can give you a preview of what this looks like in my inbox. So this is the email that I received from Active Campaign. As you can see, this has the personalized image with the play button. If I click on this image, it redirects me to a landing page. This landing page is also going to be personalized to my name, the discount code that is specific to me. And in a couple of seconds, you'll see that a personalized video will also appear and start playing, which is personalized to my information as well as my discount code. So whether your audience size is 3 or 50 or 300 or 500 or how much ever, as long as you have your email marketing platform configured, as long as you templatize this, you're going to be able to send this out in one go at scale without too much effort. So that brings me to the end of today's workflow. I know that a lot of gaps are left in terms of how the templates are created, but I promise you we've done an extensive quantity of videos as well as documentation on getting you prepped to sort of do this yourself. So I promise to share those resources with you. I'm going to head back over to our stream now to see if there are any questions or if there's anything that Inder you'd like to add. I think you're on mute, Inder.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I think the demonstration was quite clear. No questions as such. The video is going to be on YouTube, so just in case you'd like to see the entire workflow once again and test it out, please go ahead and do that. We are also running a Black Friday campaign ourselves. So if you're someone who's loved using Nexweave and you feel like someone could benefit from it, please go ahead and spread the word. Maybe someone else would go ahead and try out Nexweave as well, and it will support us a long way as well. Yeah, Shreya, I think
Amazing. Mhm. So if you guys do go ahead and try this out with your Black Friday campaigns, we really love to hear what kind of results you get. And I'm sure the community will really appreciate that as well. So um, stay tuned for more such sessions and keep us posted on how we get to be a part of your stories. I think that's our end goal ultimately.
absolutely.
Great. So I think we can end today's session for now. As always, if there's questions, reach out to us on the support chat or on the community, and we'd be more than happy to help you out.
Thank you so much for attending, guys. Take care.